Hello friends, welcome to Flosstube and Variety Show number 21. I'm Emily Williams in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, and thank you for joining me this morning. It's been 2 weeks since I made a video. It's really funny how sometimes life is just very busy. I don't really get that. I'm retired almost a year, and I don't understand how I ever fit work into my life. But anyway, here we are today. This is October 29th, I think. Let's look. Yes, October 29th, and Friday morning. So in the past 2 weeks, I've done some cross stitch, as you might expect, and the North Carolina State Fair happened. Because this is Flosstube, you'll hear about some of my cross-stitch projects, and because it's a variety show, you'll hear about other things like the State Fair, and that's it. So let's get started. I usually start by showing you Temperature Tree, StitchinMommy. It's an Etsy pattern. I really recommend her temperature patterns. She has a lot of interesting ones. One of the new one for this coming year is butterflies. I don't think I'm going to do it, but it is pretty. I think it's going to be nice. And this is my temperature tree so far. So here we are in October, and you can see these most recent leaves are in the orange and red section or spectrum, which means it's been cooler. Lovely, very lovely, really perfect weather. As we get into November and December, we're going to start being more in these colors, although November and December are not as cold usually as January and February. So I expect the tree is going to be unbalanced in the darker direction toward the early parts of the tree of the year, because it represents a year. So that's fun to keep working on that. I haven't shown you, I don't think, and maybe I showed you last week, I can't remember, Under the Roof, 2 weeks ago, of Blue Ionian Weather. This is the small version of this, and it's not all that small, but I think by standards of full coverage pieces, it's kind of small. I sort of slowed down on working on this because I hit my 21,000 in stitches in 2021, which is part of the Full Coverage Fanatics Facebook group goal, one of the many projects or challenges they have going in that group. So I hit that, and I also am still on pace to get 27,000 stitches in this by December 31st. Which would, if I make that goal, then I'm on pace to finish this in 2 years. So I kind of slowed down because I wanted to work on some other things, but I did do quite a bit. You may not be able to tell, but a lot more in this rose bush up here. And I started in on the marble that's beneath it. There's probably 600 or 700 new stitches in that rose bush, and it still looks so incomplete. It's just there's a lot of stitches in this. That's just how this kind of a project is. But I'm still enjoying it. I'm just not going at a breakneck speed. Though I will say that most evenings when I pull it out to work on, I do more than 100 stitches, which 100 stitches a day on average will get me my 2-year completion, because it's 72,000 stitches. But I haven't been meeting that average in the month of October, but it's all right because I've been doing other things. One of the other things I've spent quite a bit of time on this month is this mystery stitch along from Linens and Threads. They have recently changed their company name. Now I think they are just Fox and Rabbit. They're in Australia. They have an interesting YouTube channel that they put out a video every 2 weeks on all their stitching that they do. They do pattern designs and they dye fabric. So here's where I am now. And I did another one of those small borders, but mainly I did this square, which the challenge of this pattern, the thing that makes it both interesting and challenging is picking colors for it, because it's charted as just monochrome. And some people are doing it as monochrome and it looks very nice, it's dramatic that way. But I wanted to make it in colors similar to the Talavera tiles that it's reminiscent of, that it was designed to represent. And the interesting thing about that particular new block, partly because of the colors I chose, and partly because of the design of it, is it's much more delicate looking than the other blocks. So if this were a quilt, and I had made a quilt block that looked so much different from the others in the quilt, I might remake it in different fabrics. But that block, even though it's less stitching than the other blocks, is still 700 stitches, which is at least 3 complete days of my, two to three complete days of my stitching time. And I just don't think I'm going to redo it. I think I'm going to let it be what it is. And maybe in the rest of the next, there's 2 more blocks to come, I can balance it out. And if it isn't balanced, then it's fine. You know, I'm not a perfectionist about things like that. I do notice them and I might try to learn for the future, but it doesn't bother me too much. So that is the stitching I've been doing. It's only the end of October, so there's 2 more months left in this year, but there's a thing in the cross-stitch world, it seems, of New Year, New Start, that people like to start a new cross-stitch project in the new year. And one of the funny things about this is in September and October, in the Facebook groups I'm part of, a lot of people, and in Instagram, people are posting pictures of their finishes, pieces that they started in January of this year, they're now finishing. So, am I going to do a new start on January 1st? No, I am not going to start something on January 1st. I guarantee it, because I'm going to be doing other things on January 1st, playing games or whatever. But will I start something new in January? Probably I will, because the Talavera is going to be done and the temperature tree is going to be done. And I recently, as you may remember, 2 or 3 videos ago, I finished Salute to Abigail, the Blackbird piece that I was working on, Blackbird Designs. So right now I only have Under the Roof, which of course I'll keep going on, Flea Market Flowers, and the blue piece, the ornament piece. Those are the only ones I'm working on actively, and I'm really not working on, that is to say, the 3 pieces that I have started that will still be underway in February, say, are just those 3. And I think I, at that point, would feel like I could start something new. So, we'll see. I've also been really tempted to start a Christmas piece, which, if I start it, I'll show you. But I'm not going to start it or show you now. So, I also wanted to tell you about the North Carolina State Fair. We didn't go this year. The days that we could have gone, I mean, it was beautiful weather. It was a perfect week for the fair. And they didn't have a fair open in 2020 because of COVID. And so it was great that they had such a good week for the fair. But I was a little feeling like it was possibly not wise to go to the fair. Even though most of it is outside, the parts that I was most interested in would be the cross-stitch, the quilt displays, and the other handcrafts, which are inside, and the art, watercolor painting and other paintings, and because we know people who enter these things. Wood burning, a friend of ours entered a wood burning that won the blue ribbon for its category and best in show for professional handcrafts. And I will show you that sometime soon, because I'm going to own it, at least temporarily. And I just felt like, if I'm uneasy about going to church for an hour and a half with 450 people in a very large room, then I should think twice about going to the state fair with thousands of people, possibly in a crowded space, everybody trying to look at things indoors. And masks were optional at the fair, not required. So now they might have been required indoors. But anyway, it just felt like, maybe this is not the year to go. So I didn't go, but friends went and sent me pictures of my quilt that I displayed. That did not win anything. And my tablet weaving that I displayed, which, blue ribbon. I mean, no, not blue ribbon. Red ribbon, second place. Remember, this is that piece. As you see, it's about a little more than an inch wide. I saw in a picture the blue ribbon winner. The photograph wasn't good enough to see details about it, but it was a more complicated design than this. So it probably won because it's technically more challenging. So this is the front. I can't tell if this is in focus, and this is the back. So both sides are interesting, but this is clearly the correct side. So that was fun. And at some point, a check will come in the mail with my prize money, which I think is $6. It might be $8. It is possible, it is very possible that there were 2 entries in this category. And the reason I say that is because the friend who took the picture didn't show a yellow ribbon. I mean, third prize, which I can't remember if in this show it's yellow or white, but there was no third ribbon for it, for this category, that she showed in the picture. Now, isn't that exciting? I won second place in the state of North Carolina for my tablet weaving. Well, don't get too excited, because one of my strategies for the state fair is to take up a craft, truly, to recognize that there are some crafts that billions of people do, like knitting or quilt making. And there are other crafts that very few people do, like tatting, where I won a blue ribbon some years ago, and tablet weaving. And so strategically, I try to enter things when I do enter, which I haven't for years, but this year and in the future, in categories that I think there's not much competition, because why not? And if I enjoy the craft anyway, then I'm more likely to win a ribbon, which is fun. It's fun. It's also fun just simply to enter something, to have the fair as a deadline. So the next state fair is October 12th or something. It starts next year, 13th maybe. And it's the Thursday before the third week in October. The entry date is in mid-September. So by mid-September, I have to know that I'm going to have something ready by the drop-off date. And we'll see. I'm sure I'll enter something. I'm already thinking I should think up a quilt that I will make in order to enter it in the fair. And Cindy and I are going to finish a quilt that we've been working on together. And there's a dual entry, dual, D-U-A-L, dual maker entry category for quilts that we will enter that one in. And I may be able to enter a quilted wall hanging next year also. That's another category. You can enter only one thing per category, but you can enter in each category if you wish. So that was fun. And it does inspire me to get another tablet weaving going. I've looked at a few new patterns, and I have some lighter weight thread, some number 8 pearl cotton that would make a more delicate, detailed looking piece that might attract a blue ribbon next year. So we'll see. So the other thing I wanted to mention is that I do like to learn new hobbies, new crafts. And I don't know what happened to me, but I was on a website for Hobby House Needleworks, which is in Pittsford, New York, which I believe I have visited that store, possibly with one of my friends who watches these videos. So, Leslie, if that's the store we went to 20 years ago, let me know. But anyway, they have some items that I've really been trying to find some cross-stitch fabric that's not, well, really, I've been trying to find some cross-stitch fabric because there's a lot of supply issues. It's partly to do with shipping, I'm sure, and it's probably all due to shipping at some level, but I've been looking for Lugana, 32 count Lugana, or 32 count even weave. That might not be Lugana specifically, but something like that. It is almost impossible to find a piece of any size. And I have seen people mention 20 count Aida, which I wanted to try. Very few people have it in stock. But Hobby House Needleworks had a very small piece of each. You know, you could only select that size. So I selected a piece of ivory 20 count Aida and a white 36 count even weave. Not Lugana, but similar fibers in it, just to try. And because I'm crazy, I was just browsing around on that website and I saw a new craft. I don't know if I can show you this. So I can't even say that word, but I'll let you say it to yourself. Embroidered buttons, see that? I thought, well, that would be fun, because one of the things I like is handwork. I like handwork. I like working with my hands. That's what handwork is, isn't it? Wow, Emily. So I'm opening this so that you can see. I can show you. I don't even know. This is a little button journal. I don't know. But it comes with these metal rings, which are about 1.25 inches in diameter. And it comes with pearl cotton, DMC. Pearl cotton, this is 8, I think, size 8. And in 2 colors. And then it comes with regular embroidery floss. And these are also DMC. And I don't know, you know, it could be old DMC. But the instructions show you that you wind the pearl cotton around the form and then you hold it in place using some stitches, and then you blanket stitch around the edge to make it fill in the button so that it's completely anchored and it's going to stay there. And then you use these different embroidery stitch ideas to embroider on the stitches that on the threads that you lay down. So it's kind of more like weaving than embroidery, but I get it. I understand why they call it embroidery. So I think that will be interesting. I haven't tried it yet. But I might like it. They even include a needle. I mean, they include everything. Here is the kit. Now, this kit was $22 or something, and then, of course, there was shipping, but because I had a lot of things coming, I possibly passed the threshold for shipping because I got those 2 pieces of fabric. I also ordered some size 28 needles because that 20 count Aida, I'm going to need a small needle for. But I'm going to give this a try soon, just purely for fun. Now, maybe in the North Carolina State Fair, there's an embroidered button category, because if I enter some of these buttons next year, it's possible I'll win a blue ribbon, because I might be the only person in the state who does embroidered buttons. That's very possible. So that's all I have today. I hope that you have a great day and week of stitching and other crafts and hobbies that you enjoy, spending time with family, fall weather if you're in the Northern Hemisphere. And I really think I'm going to do a video next week, although I will say that between now and the end of this, probably between now and the middle of January, it's possible that it will be not every single week. So I recommend, therefore, and I hope you enjoy these videos enough to not want to miss one. That would warm my heart. So I recommend you subscribe and click the notification bell so that YouTube will send you an email, or maybe put it in the little corner indicator on the YouTube page that I have a new video. And please subscribe and hit the notification bell to other YouTube channels that you like. It doesn't, I mean, I will say that from the YouTube standpoint, I have so few subscribers, so few views. I know, you're each very important. In fact, you're a high percentage of my viewers, each of you. But I don't have 1,000 subscribers or 100,000 subscribers, so it doesn't really matter to me, because YouTube doesn't do anything for me at the level of this video channel, and I don't mind at all. But if you watch other YouTubers, please subscribe to them, because it does matter as you get into more numbers. It really does. And I mean, obviously they started out with 25 or 30 subscribers also, and 40 views a video. Just, that's about where I am, in the 30s, roughly 30 views, 25 views, which is fine. It's fine. I'm doing these videos because I enjoy it. It's a way for me to mark time. It's a little mini goal every week, or every 2 weeks maybe. But for some people, this is really important. And if you watch other YouTube channels, please be a subscriber. And that's it. Many blessings to you, friends.